Hello, everybody out there in the internet. Welcome to Aimless Babble Z, episode 410. I'm Chris Adams, the Tech Master, joined by.
RPG Maniac 05.
And Traptical.
So, yeah, we've got some what you've been playing, a middle segment about resolutions, and the whole Bungie Activision split, and some news. If we have news, I guess we have news, whatever. We'll get there when we get there.
Cross that bridge when we get to it.
That.
Then drop some napalm on it.
We're going to have news from now on. I've been working very hard on this podcast. I hope people appreciate it.
Yay.
Okay, so yeah, what you've been playing. Oh, derp, I go first. Jeez.
Get it together.
Alright, Destiny 2. What have I been doing in that game? Okay. Okay. It's like I kind of just like in my brain, I'm like, where do I start? Where do I want to start? Do I even want to talk about this game? Destiny 2.
Yes.
So all of the above. So I'm trying to think. 'Cause I'm at 650, right? Oh, that's right. Because we got time gated out of that stupid forge last week, and then I couldn't get into it, and I finally got into it. And the giant tank battle. I didn't talk about the giant tank battle, did I?
I don't remember any talks about tanks.
So yeah, the Progressia Forge went into it, did the whole giant tank thing, cleared it, and I was like, oh man, I might get some more story. I didn't get any more story, so that kind of sucked. After that, oh yeah. There's like this mysterious box thing I picked up, and there's like this exotic quest that was like going on. I didn't know what it was because I didn't have all the things for it, and I was like, I'm not gonna worry about this until I'm done with all these effing forges. And so after I finished the last forge, went online to look up the videos because it's not like you can ever find anything doing things normally in this game. So I was like, okay, how do I do this thing? And there's like these floating orbs that you shoot while you're doing the forges because it's like, yeah, I'm totally gonna like see one that's like totally not in the arena. It's all floating by some tree out in the over yonder, whatever. So there's that one. There's some other one in like the middle of the arena somewhere or whatever. Shot the things, got the box, got the key. So there's 4 keys for the chest. I put the keys in the chest. The chest doesn't open. It becomes a mold or something, or frame, whatever. So that happens, and then after that, let's see. Did the things with the keys. What's after that? Oh yeah. Okay. So then it's like obsidian key, blah blah blah. Need the obsidian, blah blah blah. Don't know where it comes from, blah blah blah. Really helpful, really helpful. We need this thing. Don't know where it comes from. And I saw Gamer like tweeting about something earlier, and I was like, oh, it must be that thing. And it was that thing. But then today I was talking to him on Twitter, and he totally confused me. And I was like, dude, you're confusing me, dude. But then we got back to like where we started the conversation. We had like a whole circle discussion about it. I was like, oh, you're talking about this? We're talking about that. Oh, is it this part of the quest or that part of the quest? Which quest is it? Gamer was totally confusing me. I was like, dude. Anyway, got to the part where it's like, you just got to get the things. Get the things. So the thing I need, it basically is randomly going to drop from one of the forge bounties that Ada has, and it's the blue ones. That, or we're just clearing any of the forges. I believe is what Gamer said, or the Bagursia forge, whatever. It doesn't matter. It's a random drop. Cause I did a bunch of the blue ones. Not Sunday morning. Monday. Wait, no, it was Sunday morning. Sunday morning. Cause Monday morning I wasn't here. Sunday morning, did that, and then didn't get any, and I was like, whatever, dude, I'll come back to it during the week. And then of course it's Iron Banner this week, so I'm like, dang it. I think I can't. I mean, I could do both. I'm just like, dude, all I want to do is get that sweet weapon that Saladin has. That's like a god roll, because every Iron Banner is like one god roll weapon, so it's like, I guess I'll do that. Whatever. So that's gonna take like, I mean, it's not gonna take all week. It's just like I don't feel like applying myself and trying super hard. So that's gonna happen. Let's see. So there's that. That's what I'm doing in the game. Iron Banner, that, and then like the forge weapon, that. There's also the quest I picked up that was like for the thing everybody was trying to get that was like broken with the puzzle that was like nothing awesome if you solved it, but it opened up the last forge. But they had to open up it anyway because there was like it was broken. Thanks, Bungie.
It was like missing a hint or something, right?
It was. something weird about not displaying properly or something stupid because the game is terrible. Anyway.
Sounds like you love it.
Something in that stupid broken game I can't stop playing. I did the new raid. I think I talked about that last week. Whatever. And then slowly but surely, I'm trying to get the Whisper of the Worm Catalyst because that's like one of my few goals I have in the new year for the game. So yeah, okay. So here's the thing with like the Whisper Catalyst is like every week there's like a like it's like it's an encounter that you can go through. If you clear it, you get like more percentage, but if you don't, there's like these chests you can open, but you'll get like 10%. You probably okay, you could get up to 10%, but you have to get like 5 chests or something. But I can only get like 3. I could get more. I mean, 3 or 4, whatever. I miscount. It's whatever. It's stupid. Let's see. So I'm just doing it the easy way because I'm trying to get it done the easy way, and so I'm just getting like a couple percentage every week. Otherwise, I'd be getting like way more. But whatever. I don't want to try super hard. It's not worth it.
Then you get to hear worms whisper.
That's not what that does, RPG.
I'm pretty sure that's what it does.
Nope.
They're like, I'm a worm.
I love eating dirt.
A lot like that. Now, how that fits into the Destiny lore, I don't know, but we've been making up a story for it this far, so I'm sure we can fit it in somehow.
Something light.
Wow, I lost my train of thought. But yeah.
Ooh, what if it's like is part of the Traveler? It's like a weird worm, light worm thing or something. That'd be cool. Like a glowworm, like that toy from like the 80s or something that you squeeze and it lights up in the dark and it looks creepy. And I don't know why children would love these things. One of those.
Feels like if there was a open section of the Traveler, like someone would have decided to check out what's in there.
In there?
That sounds a bit naughty. I'm just saying.
I mean, getting up inside the Traveler is not naughty. It's just, the proper thing to do for research. Although, I'm assuming, like, inside the Traveler, there's nothing but a bunch of just a bunch of light.
Yeah, that's
a bunch of light up in there. So it's
like maybe when it shines on you, you feel things like sensations or something. It's all like,
That sounds inappropriate. Like, guys, I met the Traveler and he did things to me. I was touched by his light. I was light. And that's where it gets weird. Although then again, for all we know, the whole Traveler thing is just a giant shell and there is actually something living inside of the giant Death Star looking thing that I'm pretty sure is evil. But everyone keeps on trying to be like, no, he's going to save us. He's not. It's really not.
It's the light worm that we were just talking about.
It's the light worm.
What does the light worm grow into? A giant light butterfly or something?
Maybe.
I mean, there was one in Dark Souls.
Oh.
That one tried to murder you, so maybe that's probably not a good example. Or maybe it is. Butterflies can be dangerous, I'm assuming. When they're made of light. So then the Traveler shell is a cocoon.
Oh, man.
Destiny 3 is going to be weird.
Wow, I lost my train of thought again.
I have no idea where we were. Aimless, hey!
Yeah, getting weird with it.
I was talking about Destiny, but then it's like I haven't really been doing anything except for that quest. So that's the thing. I just need to clear out my vault, really. And besides that, it's just like, clear out my vault, do the thing with the obsidian thing. I mean, there's other stuff I don't have, but I'm basically in that attitude still of, well, didn't need to clear the raid. Don't really need it then, do I? Just like when we killed Riven, I was like, you know what I don't need? All that crap I didn't have, because guess what? We just killed Riven and I didn't need it. So, yeah, don't care. Gives your F's about this game. So I'm kind of just like, whatever, and going with the flow, even more than usual when I play. So it's like, whatever, dude, as long as I can do the raid and we can clear it, that's all that matters. Raid team, woo.
True. Wait, do you guys still have your normal raid team, or do you have that weird clan thing that you guys joined? It might
It's
be a cult.
basically all of the normal people that we used to have, but we had like we would always be missing Ace Dog and Tropical, so we would always have like two people. So since we were always down two people, we just well, A, that, and then B, when like you can always see who's on when you're in the clan menu, and it's like always the raid team. And it's like nobody else plays this game. Why are we in this clan anymore? We're doing all the work because you get like the weekly clan ingrams and crap for like doing stuff, and it's like, you know what? No, nobody else is pulling their weight and doing their fair share.
Oh no.
We should go to a clan. Okay, actually, that's not what happened. Like, Gamer was looking through like the triumphs or whatever, and there's like one for like doing one with your clan or something. I don't remember. And he's like, dude, nobody plays from the clan anymore. We're never gonna get that one or something. And I guess he thought it was like a trophy because Gamer's a trophy whore. He's like, I gotta get my platinum or whatever,
Hello,
Forsaken or
Wells.
whatever. But yeah, whatever. That's how that happened. We were all led astray by Gamer and his lust for trophies. But also, Zarf is all up in the trophy thing too. So it's like, you know, both of them. Doesn't matter. We're a new clan and we have like plenty of like warm bodies all the time. So that's whatever. Anyway, that's the answer to RPG's question. Same group with like a rotating cast of like maybe one person if we need like a +1 because we're always playing. So we're all the addicts that left to like have the other, yeah, the Gamer Advisory Panel clan just like collapse in disarray or whatever happened.
Or some of us knew when to quit and, you know, enjoy
yeah.
ourselves in other things.
Yeah, the non-addicts that went clean and are able to like live a happy whatever life now. Derp a derp. But yeah, just clean out my vault. And that's kind of it. Oh, there was something I was gonna do because it's like, you know, I don't remember now. I think I was gonna try to infuse up all my gear that like I kind of want to use, but then I'm like, you know, same mindset of like, well, didn't need it, so I don't really need it. So it's like I just gotta go through my vault, clean out a bunch of crap, and yeah. I mean, they added this season all of the, I don't remember what they're called. They're not called Apex. Maybe they're called Apex weapons, but like the chase air quote gear, where it's like you get sweet guns if you do the same thing over and over. But like, you know, you like 500 gambit match, or not 500, that's too many, like 50 gambit matches, a bunch of like multi-kills in gambit with auto rifle, a bunch of whatever in gambit, a bunch of other crap in crucible for the crucible one, like a bunch of strike bounties for the strike pulse rifle, blah blah blah. It's like a bunch of, you know, useless crap. Too late, I already said it. A bunch of useless crap if you do like a bunch of like something over and over all the time. So that's like strikes, crucible, gambit, and competitive also crucible, because like there's one last season and one there's this season, blah blah blah. And then there's some like exotics I haven't done or I haven't finished the quest for that I've got like, you know, partial progress through. So there's that. But yeah, I just gotta go through my vault, clean stuff out, and then I'm good to go. Well, I guess I don't know when Season of the Drifter is, but like the last word is like at the end of the month, but then also Resident Evil 2 is the end of the month, so it's like, you know, last word, I don't really care about you, so I'm gonna play Resident Evil and then take a break next month, because apparently gamers like on
What's
Twitter
the
like,
last word?
Last word's that garbage hand cannon that's full auto. That
That seems like a bad idea for a hand cannon.
It's the one that's all twirly RPG. It's one of those twirly text machina guns you love.
Oh, the twirly guns. I do love those, but I mean, they're kind of useless because, you know, reasons. But a full auto version of that is not going to be good, because that's the one that you fan, right? And it's like that one, just like that one.
Yes. But yeah, so I'm trying to take a break because Gamer was like, oh, well, right now it's the perfect time to take a break because there's nothing going on in the game. We're taking it until the last word. So I'm like, I don't care about last word. Or so I can take a break now. But then Iron Banner popped up and I was like, dang it. That's kind of the thing that happens in the game now. Is like you have like the little schedule that Bungie has on their website all the time. You can look up and be like, oh, what's this week? Oh, what's next week? Oh, what's the week after that? And then like if you read the This Week at Bungie, it's like, oh, what's happening this week? What's happening next week? And then sometimes it's like, ain't nothing happening. Sometimes it's like, oh, by the way, Iron Banner tomorrow, Iron Banner next week, Iron Banner whatever. It's like, I kind of got to get in that. I mean, you don't have to do Iron Banner, but it's like, you know, they might have like a really, 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 really good gun that you might never ever get again if you don't get it. So it's like, yeah, kind of worth it. But that's like the only thing. Everything else is like, F that crap, because don't need it, didn't need it. Can do the raids whenever. So yeah, just taking a break and Iron Bannering and then going back to taking a break because Iron Banner just happened to be today. So whatever. Luckily, nothing good came out. I mean, Tales of Vesperia came out, and then I am looking forward to other games, but like I'm not gonna buy them. Like Onimusha, we talked about that last week in RRR. And Ace Combat, I really kind of want to get it because I saw the VR stuff and I was like, oh man, I kind of really do like Star Fox and all the Wing Commander stuff and all the flying in ships and shooting things stuff, and kind of it is my jam. It does very much
Touch you in your orange glowy spot.
Yes, RPG. I was about to say that.
I know.
It tickles my orange glaze part in the right way all the time. So that's
You had
nice.
to change it to tickle.
I mean,
works both ways, tropical.
I mean, at this point, maybe he
tell-
likes the soft touching of his glowy spots as opposed to the rough grabbing of his glowy spot. So, you know, you have to kind of alternate sometimes. You don't want to be too rough, but sometimes a little touch is a little nice, you know?
Wow.
This podcast is rated R. Children under 13 should not be listening to it.
So besides that,
Or
Destiny
17 for rated R.
blah,
Who
blah,
knows?
Yeah. Been playing Life is Strange 2. I mean, I didn't really play a lot. I just picked up from where I was at last time and finished this episode. And yeah, looking forward to it. So yeah, I've enjoyed it. There's a suspense and peril and mystery and oh my, what's gonna happen next? And I'm in. I
Wait,
didn't
is
know how
episode 2 out for that already?
it's coming
or...
out soon, I think.
Because I want to know
Because
what
there's a
the
trailer for it.
supernatural thing about it is going to be. Because apparently the
Oh,
first
there
episode
is one.
did not.
There is one.
Yes.
I mean, not supernatural per se, but like power E, like time rewind. But it's not time rewind. It's something else. I'm not gonna say. You have to find out
Ooh.
yourself.
Can't wait till the season's done then.
Because I was gonna play that and then try to get through the second episode of Walking Dead before the third one came out, but I didn't. So I'm 2 episodes back. Fourth episode's coming soon, so I gotta get through 3 out of 4 episodes because we only got 4 episodes last season. So at least it's a short season, but I'm still bittersweet about it. It's the last one, but it's the end of the story, so I get to finish the story, see what happens to Clementine, what's gonna happen.
Now they have to keep her alive because after all the controversy now, they kill her off. It's going to be like, well,
you brought her back just to kill her? What?
F all of you. And then their studio's never going to work again. Then they're all going to get disbanded. It's just going to be a mess. It's going to be a mess.
But yes, next week that is my goal to report back with Walking Dead stuff and what's going on there. So yeah, that's all I've been playing. I mean, I did like dabble a bit in like Gran Turismo and Street Fighter, but it's like just to get like fight money, grind crap, and free cars every day. So it's nothing whatever substantial.
Fight money.
Also looking forward to the very dapper, fancy layered armor in Monster Hunter. Gonna try to get that celebration.
Oh, yeah, the tuxedo.
Next month. Yeah, looking forward to that. Or the so what is it? What are they calling it? The appreciation.
The
fan appreciation.
Appreciation Fest.
It's like yeah. Oh, that's okay. I'm just gonna like finish that point of like yeah, fan appreciation month. Thank you, Monster Hunter. Thank you, Capcom. 'Cause you know what? Having a Tekken logged in Destiny 2 on his birthday, they didn't give me nothing. And then I logged into Gran Turismo, and they're like, hey, Tekken, have a free card. I was like, what? I didn't get nothing from Destiny. I spent like thousands of hours, and they didn't give me a dust flake. And then Nintendo emailed me and they're like, hey, Tegan, here's some, I mean, it's like nothing awesome. It's like, here's some wallpapers and like 300 platinum points that are like completely useless for Nintendo Club, whatever. I was like, yeah, thanks, Nintendo. Got your back.
Better than nothing.
And then PlayStation was like, nothing. It's like, what the F, man? Like, how much money have I given you all these years? And you're like, not going to give me anything? Like, some appreciation, jerks. So, yeah, just want to throw that out there. Some developers and publishers are appreciative, some are not, and then yeah, F them. So yeah, I can be like just like that day or that week, but like not all the time, because PlayStation. I'm going to. I don't think I'm going anywhere, but just it would have been nice to get something. I'm just saying, but yeah, and that's all I've been playing. That's what I say.
It's nice to feel appreciated. So I mean,
that is true. And oftentimes, like Nintendo, in the past, I think I've gotten coupons or like a wallpaper. It's not really anything, but it's like, oh, cool. A birthday email from a company.
So they remembered me.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Remember me. LOLs. That was a game. Gamer was terrible at it.
Was it a stealth game?
It was not. It was an action game where the character could like download new abilities or something, and she had a lot of memory abilities to.
Yeah, it's basically like the closest thing that we've had to Ghost in the Shell.
Yeah, like that. Except
Even though
Kim was
there's a Ghost in the
terrible at
Shell
it.
game, but it's not as 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 faithful as an adaptation, I would say.
Hmm. Anyway, this week I also played Destiny. I'm RPG asked me earlier why, and I guess I don't really know. I'm just trying to, I guess, get some levels so that I can see more of the annual pass that I paid for some reason.
Oh yeah, you did pay for that crap. So
Yeah, I
that's
have
probably
everything. I got Forsaken with the expansions and all the, and they're doing like the free expansions and stuff. But I think really I'm still just more of a Crucible person. So
Ew.
I was playing Gambit.
LOLs.
I was playing just regular Crucible to just
Did you
do.
play the new competitive play or the new competitive game type chapter like lockdown or lockout or whatever that's with the ball?
Yeah, no, I don't think so.
Oh, okay, because I haven't played it either.
Yeah, there's a quest where I'm supposed to do like 10 competitive games. I think it's the first step of that quest, and I've done 8.
Hmm.
So
So just curious, Tropical. Out of those 8, how many did you win?
I don't remember. I didn't. I played them near the launch of Forsaken, I think, and then since then, I haven't played any.
Because I completely forgot that's where the 4v4 went to die, and like when I saw
Mm,
on the matchmaking as far or like the menu to like when it was like, oh, this is 8 players 4v4, I was like, ew, this is what that is. I forgot it's still in the game. Ew, I don't want to do that. Ew,
Oh
and I just like
my.
didn't bother with it. Still have not bothered with it. So yeah.
I sort of like the 4v4. It was a bit more or a bit less chaotic. But yeah, 6v6 is just it's pretty fun if you're trying to get kills for bounties or
Well, I
whatever.
think the
It's just
thing is like
easier.
now it's not as bad because it's not everybody using the same guns. Since like there were no guns that were different back in Destiny 1 or
That
Destiny 2
yeah,
vanilla.
that's very true. I've been
Oh
killed by
wait.
lots of different things.
So all the PvP is not 6v6 or whatever?
No, it is not. I
Oh.
mean, it's only like one playlist which is competitive, but everything else is 6. Or I mean, Rumble might not isn't. I don't know how many Rumble is, but like yeah, it's just those 2. Because Rumble's
Oh.
just free for all. So
Yeah. Yeah, I guess there's not really that much to say about Destiny. I played some of my best control games ever one day, and I was like, oh, that was really cool. But other than that, still liking how to use the bow, and it's really fun Gambit too. So, but yeah,
I do
pretty.
have there are some funny moments though when like you use like a bubble or use lightning grenades and like people don't know or like they aren't used to people using them because they don't use them a lot, and it's just like you come across people that like just don't know how to react to them or like what to do in that situation, and you just like roll over them. It's so great.
What I started to do is like I'll drop the lightning grenade on them at the beginning and then start shooting with my bow, and they'll sort of look at me and think, should we fight back or should we get out of this grenade? And a lot of times they will decide to fight back, which is not the correct decision because then I only have to hit you with one arrow each, and then the grenades will kill you. Yeah, that it's pretty funny. I had a thought about why Destiny feels so annoying earlier when you're talking about it. I think it's partially because of what you're talking about, where you do these really difficult activities or really
Oh, I had a tweet about it,
annoying,
dude.
drawn
Where
out
it's like,
activities.
yeah, where it's like only at like the end of the like sequence of crap you have to do in between the awesome stuff is like the fun thing. But like before you get to the fun thing, there's like 100 steps of garbage that you have to like wade through, and it's just like this is not fun. This is and then like Black Armory was just like the worst because like each step is a grind, and it's just like
Mm.
every step of the way you're like, why am I doing this to myself? Oh, this is torture. This game's terrible. Like, all the negativity and like toxicity just like comes up. I'm just like, I hate this game. It's terrible. Oh, it's the worst. I'm just. But I'm playing anyway. Just trying to get that next week drop because I'm an addict.
It's because you want to see the light butterfly.
Chasing the light
No,
butterfly.
but the thing is, like, after you've done all that non-fun stuff and gotten the drop, like, it doesn't mean anything. You get the drop, and then you go back to playing Destiny basically exactly the same way you were playing it before. And what you were saying about how, you know, you were able to clear all of the most difficult stuff in the game without these weapons. So, like, what is the point
Why
of
do you
even
need
getting
it?
them?
Yep. That's my new.
It just feels like they're really afraid of letting people become super powerful. I think DevSize used to talk about that. He's just like, people just want to, you know, be overpowered and rampage around, and that's all they want to do. And so it's fun to, like, grind to that point, and then you get to do that. But Destiny is like, no, you can never rampage around. So
You
we'll
can
give
never
you
be happy.
weapons. We'll give you, quote unquote, better weapons, but that's it. You know, you'll never reach that point where you feel powerful. You always feel around the same level of powerful once you've, within reason, like past the level cap.
Because I mean, you only get, you get a small taste of that in, well, I mean, at least from the little of Destiny 2 I played because it was free. Is that there's like those parts where you get your powers back, where it's like you have the constantly charging super, which that's probably like the closest you get to like, ooh, I get to rampage kind of thing.
I still think they should do that mode. They should make a mode where it's like balanced for everyone to have all exotics. Or, you know,
I would love it.
Do a mayhem raid. That would be crazy awesome.
Oh man.
It's like, look at us go crazy. Look at us go crazy.
I like what I'm hearing right now. It makes me happy.
Instead,
it makes me sad because it's never gonna happen.
Yeah, so. Instead what we have is like, you get to feel weak and you get to feel normal. Normal is, you know, normal. And weak is when, you know, you go into the raid and it says that you have the right light level or power level, but then everything is like 30 power levels above you or at the max. And then they just all become bullet sponges. All right, that's enough about Destiny. We'll talk about Destiny later. We don't need to do it now.
We love Destiny.
Lies.
I know.
There are definitely parts that I like, but yeah, I don't like it enough to be at 650 or whatever, or having, you know, to put in the time. Anyway, this week I continued the so that person I was talking about last week, where I ended up playing the Cat and the Coup. The Twitter handle is Indie Gamer Chick, and I guess she came up with these sort of indie promotional ideas, and that one was called Discover Indies. It's the first Friday of every month. You're supposed to go find an indie game that you've never heard of and then play it. This one is every Tuesday and Thursday, and apparently she has enough games to keep giving them out to people every week, 2 days of every week this year. It's called Indie Select, and there's a few rules, but essentially you get a free game, indie game, and then you go play it, and then you tweet about it, or you stream it, or whatever.
Scream it. Oh dear.
Did I say scream it? I said...
You might have said stream it, but I heard scream, so I was just like, oh dear.
I meant stream it. Although, you know, if you live in a populated area, maybe screaming it...
Look at what I played! Guys!
Exactly.
Guys! It's like, he's at it again.
Stream.
Wow. I could do like one episode of a Screamcast and it would be about Mass Effect, and that would be it. I'd be like, this is the one and only people on the internet. Never again. One time deal.
I come to tell you a story. Guys,
well, anyway.
we're like right in his face.
So the game that I got for free last week was something called the Mooseman. I totally forgot to research this game because it was another one. It was sort of like the Cat in the Coup, which apparently was about, the CIA overturning democracy in Iran in the 1950s.
Yes,
This
of
game is
course.
about, I think it's Permian mythology. Um, don't quote me on that.
I was about to say, who are the Permians? I've never
Yeah, I
heard
don't know
of
who
them.
there was like
Quote him. Quote him on it.
Is Permia a country with the Permas? What is that? What they're called? They call themselves?
It talks about a lot about their creation myth. There was like these mooses, and one became the sky, and another one like killed the one that was carrying the sun around or something.
Oh my!
There is a lot of reading in this game. It actually, besides the large amount of reading into the mythology and like descriptions of certain artifacts and stuff, the game is really, it reminds me a lot of Limbo because it's sort of mostly grayscale, and you're mostly just walking along. I don't think you can even jump in this one, but you sort of, it's like platforming without jumping. And you can like switch between two planes of existence, and then there's like different things in each plane that you can use to get past obstacles and stuff like that. So, for example, like a barrier in one plane of existence doesn't exist in the other plane, and so you sort of like switch back and forth between them to get past these barriers as you go along. And I guess the point of the quest is like to bring back the sun or something. It's fine, I guess. Like it was
That
unoffensive.
doesn't fill me with confidence at all.
Like I'm trying to say, I had my normal attitude towards it after playing it, which means that it was good. I just, for me, I don't know what that means for other people. I have lost
I saw
confidence
MG's
in my
tweet
own
about how
recommendations.
Tropical likes everything, and then I was like, maybe we could just like have him phrase it to where it's like he like kind of gets it across, but then not, because it's like, oh, so sorry, you're saying, Tropical, would you recommend this game? Oh, you wouldn't recommend it, so therefore it's bad.
I would recommend it to the right people.
In other words, it is not good enough to be on its own.
Yeah, like I can shift my entire scale and that's it. So it's like I can shift it so that everything is mediocre, or I can shift it to be everything is good. And,
Everything
that's
is
where it currently
awesome.
is. Everything is good.
Everything is cool when you're part of a team.
Sorry, Tropical. Eventually we'll get there where there's like that one out of 1,000 game that you didn't like.
Yeah.
Oh
mean,
my
like
gosh,
Star
when
Trek
that
game
happens,
from
the
way
Star
back
Trek
when on
game,
PS3.
the
Yeah.
Spider-Man 3 game.
Yeah.
I have to introduce
They
him to Chaos
exist.
Wars. Like, here, there's no way you could possibly like this. It has no redeeming qualities.
Anyways, Mooseman, mythology I found pretty interesting, but at a certain point I was like, I am spending a lot of time reading and not a lot of time making much progress.
That's what visual novels do.
Yeah, there were parts where it was like every 2 or 3 steps, not literally, but like every 2 or 3 steps you would run into another totem, which meant, another mythology article, paragraph, whatever, has been unlocked in your pause menu. And you can push a button and go directly to it. And then, so I was reading all of them. And then at some point, I was like, no, I gotta stop. Otherwise, someone told me this game was only an hour. And I was like, I don't have that much time. But an hour, that doesn't seem too long. I ended up playing it for at least 2 hours. And that was skipping most of the mythology after maybe the first 40 minutes of playing. So, other than that, it's not too difficult. there's some cool, I guess it's called throat singing for the music.
I'm sorry.
In certain
What?
parts. Throat singing?
Please,
Do you know throat singing?
give a wonderful example of this. I'm
like-
curious.
It's
Is that what you were doing when you were checking the audio earlier?
Like,
I
can't do
that
it.
That is beautiful. And
Maybe record my throat.
I think I know what you're talking about, but I don't think it's called throat singing.
Is that what the monks
called?
do?
What is it called?
Isn't that like what the monks do? Like, or I'm sorry, it's the
There's some monks somewhere that do that.
It's in a song. I'll show you guys later. Jeez.
No, because I think you're referring to like some kind of like ominous chanting type thing that they do.
Not the
But it's
chanting.
not
It's
the
just like
same.
it's like the monotone, just like the one noise, white noise thing of just like the.
I think they call that wailing. I think that's what that's called.
Willing then. I thought that was what you did when you killed whales in the ocean. With
No, that's called murder fishing.
murder.
So yeah, I'm gonna play Mooseman again at some point to read all the stuff that I skipped, but it's not
Because
too
you love
hard.
that awesome throat singing.
Yes, I get more of that music. It's good. Beyond that, the last thing I played. Oh, so I saw a good deal for an Xbox One controller.
Oh no.
And I was like, I do want to try Xbox One controller because there was that thing about the rumble triggers or whatever. Like the triggers had rumble, and when I heard about it back in the day, I sort of took it to mean like it was like force feedback, like in certain situations it would be harder to pull the triggers or whatever. I guess that's not the case. It just feels like the triggers are rumbling. So because it was cheap, I got the Xbox One controller to use on my PC. Because they added that thing where they have Bluetooth, so I don't need like an adapter to do it wirelessly. And then to test, to experience, officially they're called the impulse triggers. To experience impulse triggers, I went and got 1 month of Xbox Game Pass so that I could play Forza Horizon 4 for $1.
Zero Dawn. What about dinosaurs in the butt? Because you said, never mind.
Yes. No, not that one.
It's
no
fine.
Dinosaurs.
It's fine.
Just cars. And so I had downloaded, there was a previous Horizon game that was on the Windows,
Yeah, it's Zero Dawn.
Store. No, Forza game. Did I say Horizon?
Oh, you said Horizon, so I was like, oh, Zero
My
Dawn.
bad. There was, yes.
I'm very confused right now.
Okay, start over. There was another Forza game. It was on
You were
PC.
gonna say Horizon.
I almost. And I downloaded it because it was a free version, just to see what it would do on my PC. Like, would it run at all? And this is on my older laptop, which has like it was before NVIDIA released their graphics chips that were the same on laptops and desktops. This was like a mobile GPU, and surprisingly, like the game actually ran, and I don't remember exactly now, but in my memory it ran pretty well, and I was like, oh, this is kind of magic. Like, what's going on here? And it was around that time when they were talking about how their PC games had sort of dynamic graphics settings, essentially. So instead of going in and sort of tweaking all the graphic settings to low or whatever my PC can run, the game sort of does it automatically on the fly. And like console games do this to a certain extent where they have dynamic resolution and they change, from 1080p to something lower if stuff gets too crazy on the screen. And so Forza, that one had dynamic graphics, and I thought, okay, maybe this one has that too, and it does. And so I was like, this is awesome. I'm going to be able to play this game that I've been sort of meaning to try because people have been saying it's really good, and now I can play it on my PC. I don't need an Xbox One, so let's try it. And I started playing it, and it is really cool. However, it looks probably way worse on my laptop than on an Xbox One. It just looks like it doesn't look like a PS2 game because PS2 games were lower resolution, but somehow it doesn't look as good as like a PS3 game. So
it's like an awkward in between.
Maybe it's like high resolution PS2 game maybe. But with like lots of stuff, like lots of trees and physics. Like the trees look terrible, and the rocks that have physics look terrible. But like there's lots of stuff, so a PS2 couldn't do that. But then
an overclocked PS2.
Yeah, it's just like it's
That's
a weird
PS2 and a half.
There's no halves.
I mean, it could be like a Super PS2 or like a PS2 64
duct taped together,
or like a PS2 360 or something. I don't know. Listen, it's a PS2 and a half.
It's a really weird mix, and also because like the car model itself, most of the times looks super good, but then some of the times, for example, like the bottom of the car looks really, really bad. It's just like a extremely blurry texture. But most of the time you never see the bottom of the car, so why should that matter?
Just in case you flip over and you want to see what you look like underneath.
I did that on purpose. Like I drove up a mountain, and then like I jumped off the side of the mountain, and it was like, oh my gosh, there's lots of like terrible textures on the car. But I mean, if that means I can run the game, it doesn't run even at 30 frames per second on my PC. It runs at something like low to mid 20s, I think.
Ew, that is definitely
I had
not
to turn
PS3
off like
quality.
VSync, so there's like lots of screen tearing. But it appears playable to me. It also has no shadows, so there was a part where I was driving through the forest, and the forest has like there's no shadow from any of the trees in there, so it just looks like it's hard to describe. It's basically when you turn off all the fancy features on a PC game, like that's what it looks like.
Garbage.
Basically, yes.
That being said, like there's lots of little cool things that I thought were neat. For example, the game. I think they mentioned this before, but the game can say your name, or it can say my name at least.
That's not creepy at all.
I guess it like took it from my Xbox profile or whatever, and it's just like. It knows my name.
Also not creepy. But
I'm about to say. Also not creepy.
And then there's this aspect where, like, I guess every car has its own perk set that you unlock individually for each car by doing essentially Burnout Paradise type stuff. So, like, doing near misses or, like, drifting or rolling the car or, like, jumping distances, whatever, going really fast.
Doing insane stuff.
Yeah, essentially.
Tropical's favorite.
I haven't gotten past all 4 seasons yet, though, because like that was the main selling feature of Horizon. Forza Horizon 4 was the, that's why it happens. Forza Horizon 4 was that it like takes place in the UK, and then it has all 4 seasons. But in the beginning, in the campaign mode, you have to like qualify to participate in the festival during those seasons. And I've only gotten to autumn. And I guess there's supposed to be rain, but then oftentimes I'll just see like the windshield wiper going on the car, but I don't see any rain because probably that's one of the things that my system needs to tone down for it to run. But yeah, it's pretty cool. The controller,
You don't have to lie.
like they've had comfortable controllers in the past. Although this thing, so I recently learned that the Xbox One, there's no way for you to tell which controller belongs to which player. Because you remember on the 360, there was the 4 quadrants of lights around the Xbox button.
Uh-huh.
And then this one doesn't have that because apparently, in the beginning, it was all going to be Connect. So it's like, oh, it doesn't matter which controller you pick up. Like, Connect will know who you are, and then your controller will connect to the right players on the screen or whatever.
Scanning organics for harvest.
It knows where you live.
It does. But then, Connect is no longer with us, and yeah, they didn't change anything. So I searched online, it's like, how are you supposed to do it? And people basically say, just push the Xbox button, and then it will show you whose profile it is, and then you know which one that controller is, and then just do it with all the controllers. But yeah, comfort-wise, it's fine. A little bit disappointed by the triggers. I thought it was something fancier than it was. But I
So
guess
you went
they
through all this trouble for nothing, basically?
Cool. No, I mean sort of. Because I was about to say, oh well, now I have a wireless controller for my computer, but I also bought a Steam controller back when those were being hyped, and that one's wireless too. And I guess PS4.
If you have a Hyper-A, always shoot
well.
tropical. He has no resistance.
Yes. Hype me.
Like a train. Like a train.
But yeah, this is, I think, well, I've been thinking that maybe at the end of the generation, at some point, I may end up with an Xbox One, unless I end up with the ability to buy a new computer.
Which would you prefer?
I could use the computer for a lot of stuff. Like,
but
it would, when I had to restart Skype before the podcast, that would be a lot faster. So, yeah, it all depends on what happens in the near future. A new computer is definitely more useful.
Well, then you should probably try over by getting a new computer then. F an Xbox One. F it in the B.
Like, is there anything on Xbox One that's not on PC?
Scalebound. Ha! Just
well, I mean, that's not on Xbox One either.
Yeah, I'm not an expert at their first party lineup because I don't care about it, so I wouldn't be able to tell you.
So yeah, the one Microsoft game that I've played in a long time, Forza Horizon 4. And that is all I've been playing. RPG.
Yay.
What have you been playing?
Actually, I was gonna say, like, there have been like whispers of the whole like streaming games thing, like the Amazon thing. So it's like there might be a reason not to get one if you could just get whatever and stream it to wherever.
That's true.
You don't say. You don't say. So is it my turn now?
Yes.
Wonderful. What have I been playing? Well, I really haven't been playing much because right now I'm all too excited for stuff, so I can't really like play games. But I did play Valkyria Chronicles 4, so I worked my way through a few chapters, and right now the team is stuck in a big old snowstorm thing that's going on. So the maps are all snowy, so that's fun to have to deal with avalanches and all that fun stuff. So yeah, still slowly working my way through that, but nothing too exciting to report because Kingdom Hearts. So enjoy. Because
Also
everything
known
else I
as
play was
the
just like,
prophecy might be true. How many days can we go without a government shutdown if something really, really bad happens? Just saying. Just saying.
we doomed.
Oh my.
So yeah, I only
Prophecy is coming to fruition. We were just joking. It was just a joke.
that's how it started, but then
You were the chosen one. Kingdom Hearts 3.
and now we doomed. We doomed. But yeah, everything else I played has just been like in a little short burst. So it was like I couldn't just like sit down and just like play stuff because I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm so excited. So I'm a mess right now. I'm a mess right now. So I'm sorry. I'm sorry, everyone out there. It's gonna be like that, and so
Yeah, I'm just like imagining RPG in his Lion King onesie, like pawing at his Kingdom Hearts strategy guides.
yes,
Like a cat.
like a cat.
He's so excited for it.
Long live the king.
Okay, well, I guess that's it for what we've been playing.
Cool. Let us move on to middle segment.
Oh, I was like, dramatic pause. Like
That was
what's
too long
happening?
a pause. No, I needed
Oh.
to breathe.
so
Yes,
confused.
middle segment this week. So it's kind of a twofer because I think one will be short and the other may be short as well, depending on how high the emotions run. So the first one is quickly becoming irrelevant. So we got Ask It Now. New Year's resolutions as they concern to gaming. We'll ask listeners about these at a later point. Maybe we'll actually include it as part of have you kept to it in the first 15 days. But yeah, guys, any New Year's resolutions regarding gaming, or if not, then in general?
Mine were to at least finish or play a new game every week. So if you count Life is Strange episode 1 or Life is Strange 2 episode 1, I got one this week. I didn't get one like I mean, to me it's like I kind of think the first week for me of the year doesn't count because it's like too much going on. New Year's, my birthday, and like recovering from Christmas and like everything. It's just like kind of stuff going on. Like, you know, too much going on. I need to rest. Taking needs to rest, but you can't rest because stuff's going down. Stuff's happening, and it's just, you know, yeah, too much input. So, you know, just trying to make a list. Also, I kind of like think, you know, until February, it's like I kind of just need to like also that just, you know, just recuperate, and then, you know, once February's out, it's time to go on a killing spree, and, you know, make a list of the games and be like, all right, you're on the list, and you're the target, and you're the next one, and, you know, your number's up. But
Murdering people? Oh gosh. It's a very dark
I mean, I
resolution.
guess I never said people, but, you know, if you need me to like specify, I wasn't talking about people. Figuratively, geez.
I don't know if I believe you.
Especially after last week. But yeah.
January was the month of murder. Kingdom Hearts.
Let's see, but yeah, just but yeah, those two things, like the game played or finish every week. That's like different because I have too many, and I'm just like, dude, I gotta play these games. And then I reinstated my $20 rule of like, if it's $20 or under, totally getting it because it's like cheap and totally a deal. And my treat yourself vein in my brain is just like it's like twitching all the time now. It's just like, I mean, it's easy for me to say no, but then I'm always like looking back of like, man, I could have got that for super cheap later on in the year, and like I see it like not on sale, I'm like, oh, it's cheap. So yeah, I kind of went over budget on the end of the year sale, so whatever.
That's the other thing that sucks because it's like when you're trying to, because like there's things you want to get and you're like, okay, I know this stuff is going to go on sale. And then if you get it and then it's like, well, I haven't played it. Then it goes on a bigger sale. And it's like, well, I could have just waited all this time instead of doing what I did.
Also that I basically, if it's like a new game that's out that month, if it's like not at the level of like, I will get this and play through it the day it comes out, I am just going to pass. Or if it has a season pass, it's like, F you, you're dead to me because like season passes go yourself. I'm gonna wait for price drop. Sorry, Scott 7, but you did that to yourself. So
You did. You really did.
So it's like Resident Evil 2 is this month, and then next month. I mean, I was talking about this RPG before the podcast, but it's like Anthem's kind of on there. Cause just, I mean, I saw then 7 Armor 2, so kind of just like like the bait, like the chum was like thrown in the water, and then my shark sense of just like blacking out, just like just like kind of was triggered. But like we'll see. I might be able to hold off. I might not. DMC is like the week after, or the month after. I want to try out Sekiro Shadow Dice twice.
Sekiro's February.
And then there's no Sony at E3, so that's gonna be weird.
Or
no PlayStation E3, so I guess we'll see what happens between now and PSX or Paris Games Weeks or TGS or whatever the F. It's gonna be a weird year now. So
yeah, that's true. They aren't doing anything this year.
Unless they're just like, guess what, motherfuckers, and just like PS5, it's coming next year. Which I hope they don't do.
I don't think they will, but
it's not necessary in my opinion. So yeah. But yeah, I think those are mine. It's just like play more games, play more things. Don't waste money on things you will not be playing. Like I got Red Dead. It's just sitting there because. Oh yeah, also Destiny, dude. I need to like. I'm gonna rein it in, and hanging it up. We'll move on. We'll touch on that in the next part of the middle segment. But yeah, it's like hanging up my jersey because I mean I've said this before and I've gone back on it. That being said, I can be a changed man unlike Gamer 12 because he does not know how to be a changed man. So yeah, and he's not here to defend himself. So ha ha ha.
I mean, if that's not the pot caught in the kettle black, I don't know what is.
Whatever. Gamer's way worse than I am. Everybody knows this. It's a scientific fact.
Is it though? Is it?
I'm not going to import this game. It's not going to come out here. I imported it. It came out here. I'm not going to buy that game. Oh,
and the rest of us say thank you.
I was about to say. Because, I mean, the gamer curse always worked out in our favor because it's like, yay, we get new games. All because he imported it. It's the best curse.
I mean, I guess it's kind of technically a New Year's resolution as I still want to learn how to code because I had that from last year. Then I didn't really do much with it. And I made like barely any progress. And then my Facebook memory popped up and I was like, dang it, I didn't get that done. So yeah. Round 2. Learning Unity.
Hurry before the end.
Man. But yeah, those are mine.
How does one make a gaming resolution? I mean, I've never really like made resolutions in general. It's like unless I was like joking about it, but I don't think I've ever made one for gaming because I mean, how do you make a resolution for that?
Well, I mean, mine is pretty obvious, like because there is a lot of shame and regret. Not necessarily shame, but like lots of regret when it comes to my game collection and my game playing habit. And you'd hear that and you think, oh, this person plays too many games and like they regret that they're missing their life. And I was like, no, I regret having all of the games that I have and not having played probably most of them.
I think that's usually what it stems from is like you just have a bunch and like you don't get around to them and then they just start to pile up or just like add up and you're just like, man, there's all these games in here. I haven't been playing them. I haven't gotten around to playing them. That's a problem because the release schedule never stops or slows down. So it's like, at some point, I'd like to play God of War, or I'd like to play whatever game Tropical hasn't played that he always talks about that he hasn't played, or I'd like to play whatever. And just like, you'll get there eventually.
So
or not.
Regret mostly, and like sort of the desire to replace that with I don't know,
with not
feeling
regret,
of accomplishment. Maybe. I don't think I feel shame. I don't think I've ever felt shame that I have a ton of games. Especially now, since I have a next generation, and I'm like, you will play all the games after I've died.
Oh my, that's dark. It's like, I love you, but I'm gonna die, so you have to play all my stuff. It's like, oh,
we're all going
thanks,
to die,
Dad.
So you need to finish these games. Someone needs to play them.
That's a lot of pressure to put on her, considering you like to buy a bunch of stuff. So it's like, oh.
Well, what Tekken was talking about just now, where it's like you start feeling like, oh, you just have this huge pile and it's just piling up and releases never stop. Occasionally, I am able to slow the incoming flow of games into my collection up to a point where I sort of throw caution to the wind and just say, whatever, what's another game to the collection, and then I'll just add a bunch at that time.
Yeah, it's weird. It kind of worked both ways. Where it's like, I have too much to play, I don't need anything, or it's like, whatever, dude. What's one more to the pile?
Exactly. No, that's not how you should think. Yeah, I mean, I guess very simply for me, I'm gonna try to play. I don't know, what's the adverb? I'm gonna try to play really ferociously, I guess. Voraciously?
I don't think that's
the
right.
That only applies to food, eating.
I mean, I guess technically you could still kind of. You know what? It's fine.
Voraciously consume game content.
Yeah, for me, it's like whenever I'm doing that, I'm just like, every time I'm doing that and I come across a JRPG, I'm like, except for you, all of you, go over there. I'll come back to you specifically some year, and it'll just be JRPG year, and I'll kill you all then. I mean, play through you all then.
Oh my! We're gonna have to get you some therapy because I'm a little concerned.
I mean, there's a thought that's been going through my head a lot this year. People say you shouldn't work, or instead of working hard, you should work smart. And I take that a step further. It's like, well, I don't know how to work smart, so I'm just going to work really hard, and hopefully I become smart through that.
I don't think that's what they meant.
You should put that on a shirt, Tropical, because I've never heard that expression, and it's really weird.
It's going to be a very long shirt.
It's as long as hardworking as I am.
So, as far for games, it's going to be spending less time deciding which game to play and just playing it. And then as I'm playing it, not playing it as thoroughly. Even knowing the fact that after I finish it, I'll be like, oh man, there was all this stuff that I didn't play in that game. At least I'll have finished it once. And then if I have time, I can come back to it. And that's what I'll tell myself. That's what I'll tell myself, knowing that I will never have time to come back.
That's...
But see, then I'll have played through those games.
Interesting. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Because it's like, I know there's games I'll definitely finish upon when I played them, but then it's like I can't tell myself that I'm going to like play a certain number of games or beat a certain number of games because I know it's not realistic. So I don't even want to set myself up for failure. Because then it's like, yeah, I know I'm not going to be able to do this because I have too much going on. So I am not even going to lie to myself.
I think that's what my old goals were. With like we're just trying to like structure how I could like get in more gaming time, or just like structure to where I could like game more often, or just like structure it into my schedule to where I could incorporate it better and not like lose the hours or the time that I was like I'd be like sitting looking at my games, being like, oh, I have choice paralysis. I don't know what to play. Where it's like I just always have like something to play, or I know what I'm going to be playing whenever I have time to not be missing out on time I could be spending playing something.
Yeah, mine is the choice paralysis comes from sort of imagining how much time it's going to take to finish each individual game, and then just being stuck there. It's like, oh, that one's going to be so much work. This one's going to be so much work. That one's going to be so much work. If I just, I think I figured out my problem. It's like, well, then I just shouldn't think about that, because no matter which one I play, it's one of the games that I haven't finished. So that's the goal. Play a lot of stuff. It's gonna happen.
Is it though? Is it?
I have no idea. But see, this is the playing hard part and not playing smart. I'm not even gonna think about it. I don't know. And I'm not gonna speculate. I'm just gonna do it.
Smart.
Yep. Brain can't get in the way if I don't use my brain.
I mean, you're not wrong. So there's that, but
oh man, that sounds like an aimless thing. Brain can't get in my way unless if I don't use my brain.
Burn it up.
I'm going to get weird with it because my brain can't get in my way if I don't use my brain.
Well, it's Aimless podcast.
It's time to get weird and not use my brain.
Yeah. All right. Well, I mean, I think if you sort of knew an overview of the three of us individually, most people would probably say RPG has the least problems in this area. So I don't know. Do you want to consider, or should we move on?
We could probably move on.
Alrighty.
Maybe RPG should be, I want to try new things in the new year. I want to play other games that are not RPGs more often. Like stealth. I'm just saying, I'm just throwing it out there. Sneak around, stab people in the back.
I'm not playing a stealth game.
I want
See how much you enjoy it.
The RPG stealth show. That will be awesome.
I can't do it. Can't do it, guys. I can't do it.
We're going to lock him in a room and make him play stealth games.
Oh my gosh. That sounds like some circle of hell.
All right. Well, the other middle segment is like half news and half probably something we want to talk about because it was pretty big. Last week, I believe it was Thursday?
It was Thursday.
Activision and Bungie announced that they would be splitting and ending their partnership, which started in 2010, and at the time, and over the course of many years afterwards, we've been calling it like the 10 years of Destiny, right? Because it was going to be this
10-year plan, yeah.
10-year partnership, 10-year plan. That is coming to an end.
So they thought.
And just like we knew back then, Bungie retains ownership of Destiny, and they're going to be basically reclaiming the publishing rights to Destiny. In their statement on Bungie.net, they talk about how the gaming industry was a pretty different place at that time. They needed a partner that was willing to essentially give them a bunch of money and let them do a big crazy thing. And, Activision.
Make it rain, Activision. Make
That
it
just
rain.
makes me think of like the E3 thing when like Microsoft was like, here's all the studios we bought, or when like they did that announcement of like the first party partner, whatever the crap, of like, we're gonna give developers money and give them a money hat, and they're gonna make games for us. It's like, it's like
Hat.
funny because it's like Bungie was like making games for Microsoft console anyway, so it's like, we went from one pimp to the other. And the results were
Well, I mean, if you think back, like, what was significant about this deal at the time was that, and it was at the same time as Respawn was getting their partnership with EA. At the time, the Respawn EA partnership was significant because Respawn, they didn't have a game yet or project or anything. They were just like, EA invested in Respawn based solely off the strength of the people, is how the reporting went. Who knows how it actually was. And then when Activision and Destiny and Bungie announced this partnership, it really was like, oh, Bungie, they are going to retain their independence, and like they will own the property that Activision is going to be paying for. So, yeah, I guess they did jump from. It was a little better arrangement the second time around. Not, when you say from pimp to pimp, it's like they didn't get anything better. They did. They get to own Destiny.
Well, their pimp is better. It still doesn't demand money as often, and
or
doesn't.
I guess the aimless analogy of the cake conglomerate or something.
Yes.
Or what's the
thingy
that owns a cake factory?
Who owns a cake factory?
They're called an owner.
The cake restaurant owner.
The master baker.
The cake restaurant owner.
So yeah, apparently the planned transition process is already underway in early stages. Bungie and Activision has said they're both committed to making sure the handoff is as seamless as possible. The Destiny roadmap that Bungie has announced thus far isn't changing. Although beyond that, who knows? And really, that's what this segment is about. Who knows? Nobody knows. So we're just going to make random guesses as one of us who has played literally thousands of hours of Destiny. I guess that's not yeah. What do you think is going to... Well, first of all, is this good or bad?
So this is an interesting little thing because it's like, after all this time, I'm pretty sure a lot of people may have thought that Activision was part of the reason for a lot of the less pleasant decisions that were made for Destiny, especially when it turned into the kind of service game that it is. So, I mean, because most people, anytime they like hear Activision's hand is in anything, they're like, whoop. Money, dear boy, money when it comes to them. So a lot of their games often follow those kinds of those models where it's like, how can we milk our wonderful consumers for everything they're worth with various microtransactions and all kinds of shenanigans that are going on. And I think, like, in the case of Destiny, a lot of the whole them forcing them to keep the original Destiny as multi-generational before they like kind of scrapped that kind of came from needing to make sure they can make as much money as possible. And then it's like, now it's like, without Activision kind of like puppeting them from the background, it's kind of like maybe they can have a bit more creative freedom with what they want to do, because it's possible that they're able to do cooler things with their property now because they're like, well, now we don't have to make it so restrictive, so that way we can, nickel and dime things, or maybe we can go a different direction and actually have a story in the game because you want to actually entertain our fans, kind of thing. So I think this might actually be a good thing.
This is true. Yeah, because what you're talking about is part of their deal with Activision was a certain release cadence, essentially. Like, they were supposed to release new content every few months. There was supposed to be a sequel every... Well, it changed over the years, but, it was like they had to hit certain release and content goals. And, yeah, without that pressure, maybe they can entertain us.
Dance for us, clowns, dance for us. Are they dancing yet? They're not dancing yet.
Yeah, I definitely think it will be more of a good thing than a bad thing, just because of, like we just talked about, the whole no pressure from, all right, every September, if we don't get an expansion, there's going to get a core game. And if there's no core game, well then, every however many months, we want some DLC or expansion. And then when there's no DLC or expansion, you're going to be pumping out those microtransactions up the wazoo, and we're going to be monetizing the crap out of that community because we want money, dear boy, money. And this train don't stop until it stops. And it's never going to stop because we're not going to stop making money. We're Activision. That's what we do. Money, dear boy, money.
Like. That's what they sound like.
Just like that.
Just like that. I refuse to believe otherwise.
And then, like, on the as far as like the gameplay side, as far as like, yeah, there've been like a lame whatever decisions, they've gotten better over time, so at least like that is already kind of resolved. So it's like, now that that's like not really as bad, and like we have like these roadmaps now where we like know it's coming, and it's not just like, oh, we're working on it, working as intended, whatever dudes, we'll get around to it. Oh, there's an issue with this gun, oh, there's an issue with this, working on it. Can't say when it'll be solved. Whatever, man. We're on the case. We're on the case. Bungie, on the case. We're working on it. Yeah, okay. So it's like, now that we're beyond that, to where they're actually like, telling us about stuff. Even like the guitar error that's been like, that was like finally mentioned in like the This Week at Bungie this week. I think March is like the time frame. So I mean, it's a long way away still, but it's like, they're gonna get on the case.
Well, it's not that long away. It's only like a month and a half or so.
Over a month, RPG. Over a month. But it's better than nothing. So it's like, whatever. Beggars can't be choosers. Whatever. So, I'd rather have... I mean, I'm cautiously optimistic because it's like... I'm pretty sure they weren't like sabotaging their own product of like, what we're gonna do? We're gonna put microtransactions in here and just like, make our community angry and like make them not want to play our game. And make it a terrible grind fest, and we'll show them.
Well, and then on the flip side though too, because it's like losing a major publisher like Activision, though, that does kind of like take away a lot of the money they probably had in their reserves. It was like, I mean, if worst comes to worst, it's like you could just ask for money from Papa Activision. You'd be like, let us reach into our deep, deep wallets for you, son. And then they were able to do all kinds of shenanigans like that, but I mean, as long as they were appeasing them, it was just like, okay, we don't have to like really worry about any kind of money issues or whatever. But stepping out on their own, though, it's like, well, if something goes wrong, like you're on your own. Like there's no, hey, somebody bail us out. It's like, no, your game is gonna just fail if you fail. Because, yeah, you goofed.
True. Like, Destiny 2, or I guess in the beginning people liked it, right? But then there was like a long period before Forsaken where it was like...
There was a long, dark time.
People were really down on
when it was just not good. Ugh.
If Bungie had been on their own at that time, it's like, who knows if Destiny is still going on today, or if they're even talking about this roadmap for new stuff. Instead,
like, well, how do we dig ourselves out of this? Because Guys, we don't have anything to kind of fall back on this.
But then like weren't there also stories about like higher up developers like in Bungie that had been there like a while that like left after they got the whole Activision deal because like it just wasn't working as far as like having to work with them and like them having like so much leverage over the creative control and just like not having it work and they're just like, you know what, it's not worth it and this is too stressful, I'm out.
Were these the stories about like the original story mode?
Yeah, like the Destiny 1 stuff where it's like all that stuff that got cut and
Yeah.
then just like how it's just like development hell and just like when like they had like pitched it to them and then like they had that meeting of like, well, it's close, it's like 12 months or like less than 12 months or something from launch and they're like go to that meeting and then like the Activision executives are like, well, actually, blah 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 blah, and then like just like fix all these things or like change all these things that like they're like changing or scrapping or like not even gonna make it in the final game and just all that craziness and just like yeah.
They were like, we like your idea, but change everything.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, okay.
I mean, on
It's
the one
like
hand,
you can keep the name of the game. We'll give you that.
yeah. I mean, yeah, on the one hand, like having the sort of security of this 10-year partnership deal where funding is probably less of an issue, you can do more creative stuff. But then they were like in this situation where it's like, oh no, like we have to live up to our commitments, which means we can't do creative stuff because there's just no time. We gotta do is like Madden yearly releases. You don't really have much
Oh
time to come up with
yeah,
creative stuff.
because you can only because like with the Madden games, they can only change so much stuff within the time period that they have to release these games. But at the same time, it's like if you don't make it different enough, then people are just gonna be like, well, why do I need to buy this? I could just keep the version I have and go from there. So I think it might become a thing with like for like Bungie though, because now it's like, do we play it safe but still try to do creative things, or it's like how do we kind of balance this, because it's like we can't get too crazy because then you're like alienate most of your fans, and then next thing you know we're gonna be like up the creek without a
Yeah,
paddle because
the
nobody's gonna want
mistakes
to.
matter so much more now.
Yeah. Mm.
So Tekken mostly optimistic.
Yes, mostly optimistic.
RPG, you think this is good for
I
Bungie,
mean,
and or is it good for? I guess it's three questions. Good for Bungie, I think everyone thinks is yes.
Yes.
Good for Destiny.
now that's good. That's a bit more complicated because like there's so many factors going on now. So it's one of those things where it's like, well,
I would say yes, just because giving more creative freedom to the creators is usually a good thing. So, I mean, it can backfire, but it's like, I'm going to err on the cautiously optimistic side that they don't mess up again after getting the reins back. Like clearly, this is what they wanted if they like were trying to get out of the contract anyway. So, let's see what they do now that they've got the power.
mm,
And then the third question is, what is happening at Activision? And sort of a little background on that. So,
Oh yeah, dude, because the whole Blizzard stuff, I talked about that on Twitter, didn't I?
yeah, so
I was like,
Kotaku did
there's
this.
man, what is going on over there?
Kotaku did a story like a few months ago about how Activision's influence seemed to be growing at Blizzard. Like Blizzard always seemed to have this freedom to like take as much time as they needed and kind of operated on their own. But then recently, Mike Morhaime, the one of the co-founders of Blizzard, he stepped down from the head of that, and then apparently he's gonna be gone from Blizzard entirely in April. Originally, he was just like gonna be an advisor. Then there was the story of Activision Blizzard CFO Spencer Newman was fired in December for like violating some legal obligation to the company or something, and now he's like the CEO, I think, at Netflix. Another CFO, Amrita Ahuja, I don't know, that's probably wrong, left that position to become CFO at Square, not the game company, the little payment swiper card company. And then like, so after the announcement of the Bungie Activision split, their stock like dropped 6.5%, and maybe dropped as much as 10% over the past few days. And then there was a story out of Market Watch, I think was the one I saw it on. Apparently Activision is being investigated on behalf of investors for securities frauds or
I did not see that story.
Unlawful business practices.
Oh.
Yeah, like, so they lost a bunch of leaders. There's rumors that, you know, Blizzard is becoming not Blizzard because Activision is, you know, getting involved and telling them to cut costs, and like Heroes of the Storm is not going to be supported in the way that it has been. That's really sad to me. Like, that's the second.
Oh yeah, I saw
MOBA
that,
of
dude.
mine
I
that's
was
gonna
like,
die.
when Heroes of the Storm got support dropped, I was surprised on that one. That was very much a cost cutting thing.
Yeah.
And then there's like the whole like when they like all the I don't know if it's Ireland, but like somewhere in Europe, there's like a bunch of like Blizzard support stuff that like chose that buyout option too.
It's like 100 European Blizzard support staff.
There's been like a lot of like really bad stories about Blizzard and Activision. Like none of them have been good.
And a lot
the
of
last
like
months.
the Kotaku story came out of, I guess, investigating in the aftermath of the Diablo Immortal reveal at BlizzCon.
Also another bad story.
Yeah, where people were disappointed that the next Diablo game was going to be a mobile game. What is going on? So clearly, this
The timing of this is very, very convenient, to say the least.
As part of the announcement, like Activision is apparently going to increase their focus on their own IP. So I guess
yeah, I saw that, and I was like, what do they even have besides Call of Duty?
Yeah.
That's funny.
But
it's like Skylanders, but Toys to Life is dead. So
so many things are happening at Activision, and it's just like they were the first third-party publisher, and you know they were basically the biggest one. They sort of traded off with EA back and forth over the years, and then now there's just lots of negative stories coming out of there.
I think this is just like the end of the cycle, pretty much, as far as the like the consequences of like all these years of just consolidating studios, having all their teams work on Call of Duty, having it come out every year, having like however many Call of Duty teams they have. It's like Infinity Ward, Treyarch.
Yeah, they have 3 now. Yeah, it's kind of ridiculous.
Sledgehammer, yada yada yada. Like all, I'm not even sure if they're still around, but like, you know, just like tons and tons of teams, and then like the teams that don't work on Call of Duty work on Call of Duty. It's like the Beanox people that worked on the Spider-Man game, or effing Dark Moon or High Noon, whatever. High Moon Studios, like yeah, the Transformers team that works on like the awesome Transformers games. They don't get to make Transformers games, which is like whatever, dude. So it's like
also worked on Call of Duty.
They've just like basically just consolidated and had like so many teams just like folded in on each other to work on the same franchise.
One IP, yeah.
That comes out every year, and it's like the only reason that they don't have more than one every year because they already ran like Guitar Hero into the ground like years ago when they had like more than one every year, and it's like, you know, how many of these can we put out every year? How much money can we make?
It's
let's
true,
have a test
really
run.
Drive it into the ground, because it was like every time you turned around, it's like, oh, Guitar Hero the 80s, Guitar Hero a specific band, Guitar Hero the Wonder Years. It was like ridiculous.
So to me, this is just like the end product of that cycle of just like they've basically been digging this hole for like a long time, and it's just like the like getting towards the end because like they say like in-house IP, but they have no in-house IP. I mean, I guess technically they do, but it's like the only thing people know them for are like Call of Duty, and then like they even like ruined Tony Hawk when they put out like that
Yep.
most recent one when it was like terrible. So it's like the quality control is like is like through the floor. And it's just like anything they put out that's like not Call of Duty, it's like either not good or people just like don't care about and they can't sell it. So they're just like not making money on those properties. So it's like they have nothing going on. Like that's not Call of Duty over there. And then just that's the corner that they built like that they painted themselves into. And this is just all the what's the expression of like chickens coming home to roost or whatever that thing. But yeah, that's pretty much it. It's like, and then like myself as an ex Call of Duty person, it's like I used to play that game, but then like after Modern Warfare 3, I was like, I'm kind of done with this dude. Don't need to play it every year. Ugh. So and never going back. So it's like, been there, done that. Pass. Like there's nothing there for me. So it's like this is just running the course of what's going. Yeah, it's like and then like we all know that like making a new IP is like way harder than like having an established franchise, but there's so much baggage with Call of Duty. It's like I can see why their stocks are dropping when it's like, oh well, it's not it's not exactly bringing new people into the fold or just like growing the fan base. So I guess that's why like what's happening. So don't have a solution, don't have a what do I think is going to happen. It could get better, it could get worse. And then I just hope Blizzard is somehow like able to survive this and like not get what's that word called? Assimilated into the Borg cube that is Activision and like go down with the ship, I guess. Or
Blizzard
whatever
presents
happens.
Call of Duty
Oh man.
Fantasy Edition. I don't know. StarCraft. Call of Duty StarCraft. Yeah, it's really crazy when you list it all out like that. I guess it makes a lot of sense. There was a tweet I saw. I forget who it was from. I think it was a former Activision person saying something to the effect of, "All of our studios are making Call of Duty. Like, what do we do with creatives?" And the response was, "Oh, we have Bungie for that."
Oh, I saw that tweet.
It's like, well, so now they don't have Bungie. But yeah, if you think about it, like, there's Call of Duty, which has been in decline. Guitar Hero is gone. Tony Hawk is gone.
And
They
they're
had a
not
lot
and
of
they're
properties that they didn't own that they did like licensed games. So like
yeah,
Transformers, Prototype, I guess, is theirs, right? But
I,
that's like
no.
kind of gone.
I mean, that's the
Um,
thing though. Like, if you think about it, any other studio that's making franchises, like even like the Assassin's Creed teams or like stuff from Ubisoft, that's like every other year when they put out like a Far Cry or a Assassin's Creed or like whatever franchise they're putting out, is like that team is like working on that game all the time. Or it's like Activision, they folded them all up and like made them all work on Call of Duty, so they can't just be like, all right, dudes, we need a new XYZ game.
Then
As
everybody's
far
gonna be like, "We can make you a Call of Duty."
it's like wait we don't remember how or like like it's or like yeah it's like they're not at like up to standard with like whatever the modern iteration or version of like whatever that would be because it's like they haven't made one in such a long time, so it's like well they're kind of and they don't necessarily have to start from scratch. It's just like it's not at the level of everything else when you like look around at like what everybody else is doing.
It's really insane. Even like Blizzard franchises have kind of been in decline. Like World of Warcraft is not, spoken of in the same way that it once was. And, Diablo 3 is fun, but also kind of it's sort of mindless. StarCraft has been in decline for a long time. Um, Here's the Storm they just cut off. Hearthstone is like, it's Hearthstone. Overwatch, I guess, is on the rise, but they're like putting in a ton of money to make that happen. So it's
It's
yeah.
yeah, I would say that like if you look at basically like Bethesda and EA and Ubisoft, like how they all have like different franchises of like different genres and stuff, and they're like very versatile. Yeah, their their portfolios have like a lot of versatility in them, or are very diversified. Like have a bunch of different stuff going on in them, whereas like Activision is basically just complete opposite of just like the one wow, what's that expression?
One trick pony.
That RPG, yes. So they only have like the one thing going on for them right now, and just building up from that, especially like at the end of a console generation, going into like another console generation is going to be very difficult. I mean, they have the money, so they could just like withstand it for now, but then like going forward, like how do you build from nothing to having like multiple different IPs of like stuff? It's a lot harder or easier said than done.
In a way, it's kind of like the situation that Microsoft was in this generation, where they had no first party because they were all gone, essentially.
And they kept buying studios and then basically letting them die because they were just like, oh, maybe money will solve this. It didn't.
I was thinking the same thing. It's like, that's kind of like the only thing they have is money. So it's like, they're just like the Microsoft of third parties right now. Like they have a bunch of money sitting around, but they have no studios to like make the games. So, I mean, they have studios, but they haven't been working on anything besides Call of Duty for like the last however long. So they're kind of like not as up on their game. I mean, if they're as good as they're worth, you would think, they could just poop out awesome games, but it's not. As Valve would say, or as Gabe Newell from Valve would say, games are hard to make, so have fun with that.
I just realized they did the Microsoft thing. Like, Sekiro, the next From Software game, is being published by Activision.
What else are they publishing though besides that?
Well, no, that's what I'm saying.
Oh, they just like have other people make other people that are making awesome stuff make stuff for them.
Yeah, because that's what I was gonna say too. Is like,
because I knew Sekiro was from Activision, but I was like, besides that could be the route they go though. That makes sense.
They haven't gone to the extent of they haven't gotten to the point where it's like, okay, now we need to buy studios so that whatever comes out of them is ours.
But, that would be interesting. That would actually be, I think, good overall, just because that's a third party doing that, as opposed to like a first party. So it's not exclusives. So it's not like just tied to a console when people are being money ahead for like awesome pet projects. So that'd be kind of cool.
I mean, I guess it would be. We've heard less about sort of the internal workings of Activision. Like, we know Glenn Schofield, who was the creator of Dead Space essentially, and then head of Sledgehammer. He left Activision recently, and there was some like basically the head of like Hearthstone Creative left Blizzard a while ago, and we don't really know like how many other creatives have left Activision owned studios because they didn't want to work on Call of Duty. If they're still around, then maybe Activision can just be like, all right, we're releasing everyone from Call of Duty and you can go make some cool stuff and we'll take a look and then decide which ones to fund.
They're having like like a Hunger Games type draft or something. It's like, all right, anybody that doesn't work on Call of Duty,
your favor.
You get to go in the pool. You might be picked for something cool, pet project style. If not, sorry. Or just choose yourself as tribute if you're just done. And we'll let you, like, maybe do your own thing. Maybe. Probably not. But we'll see how we feel about it.
Horrible.
Oh, man.
Well, I guess we'll see. Clearly, right now, it's a bad time for Activision. But who knows? Who knows what could happen?
I kind of feel like that was maybe like the lesson of the last couple console generations of just like all these dead like mega publishers like on the side of the road. It was just like the end of, not necessarily like the end of AAA, but just like the lessons to be learned with like the Acclaims and Midways and THQs. It's just like, don't get too reliant on that Mortal Kombat that you release every year that's only making you money midway when your licensed games aren't doing too well, because it's not going to know too well for you, or just, yeah. You can only keep chugging along on like one thing for so long before it just doesn't work out.
I think THQ at the end was making the right moves. It's just that they ran out of time. No more money. because they had like South Park going, and they just had, I can't remember what they were now, but I remember thinking, oh, there's a lot of exciting stuff coming out of THQ.
Yeah, because they had
And then it was just like, nope,
the Saints Row team
we're
too,
dead.
so they had a lot of
Yeah.
cool stuff.
I guess it also goes to show like there's no such thing as a sure thing in games. Like you think, oh, we'll just make another Call of Duty and it's fine. Like we can just make Call of Duty and it's fine. We can run the entire company just on that. And like some gamers think that. Like they just think, oh, that's why they keep making sequels because it's just easy. It's like, well, it's not that easy, and you know, look what has become of them. So anything else to add on that Activision Call of Duty stuff?
It'd be cool if they like brought back a bunch of old wow, I can't even remember now. Ape Escape era games. Right, RPG, right? Mm-hmm.
I mean, I wouldn't be against it.
I'm sure Activision has a lot of franchises and IPs that they own. We just don't remember any of them because they haven't. Yeah, it's been a generation.
I wonder if that's like what their plan was. It's like, okay, if the Call of Duty thing doesn't work, let's just try something old and see if it sticks.
Just try something old.
Let's push the nostalgia button and see if it works out.
They haven't done it so far, so maybe.
It just doesn't.
Maybe we'll find out at E3 or not.
Do they do E3? I thought they pulled out of E3.
Maybe not. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't remember.
I mean, maybe Call of Duty isn't that there usually somewhere. If not at their own booth,
like
somebody else's.
Someone else.
Yeah. So maybe they'll do that. I mean, Sony won't be there, so it'll have to be at like a Microsoft or a Nintendo or PC booth. So, who knows?
Well,
Darkest Time.
Yes, Darkest Timeline, which brings us to the next story. This is like absolutely bonkers news. Also came out of Kotaku. Their news editor, Jason Schreier, who's always breaking these kinds of stories apparently. A former Gearbox lawyer named Wade Callender and Randy Pitchford, the CEO of Gearbox, are suing each other. Callender worked at Gearbox from 2010 to 2018, and Gearbox says he abused the privilege of credit card access by charging unapproved wholly personal expenses, including family vacations, gun club memberships, and firearm accessories, and trying to get a 6-pack abs.
What?
There was also like a home loan agreement and tuition loan agreement that he didn't pay back in full. It's really crazy.
Is this the guy that made all those charges to Randy Pitchford and his wife's credit card, or is this something different?
That's a different thing. That was
okay.
I forget what that was. I have to check on that. I'm not sure actually. I don't think it's the same thing.
Because I remember that story, and then I'm hearing this and I'm like, this sounds really familiar, but not exactly the same thing.
Well, the countersuit is even crazier. Callender has accused Pitchford of striking a 2016 deal in which he received an executive bonus of $12 million from 2K to be paid directly to Pitchford Entertainment Media Magic LLC, which is I guess Randy Pitchford's own company of some sort. The bonus was apparently supposed to be an advance upon royalties that would have otherwise gone to Gearbox staff. And so it's just like the lawsuit says this is particularly tragic exploitation because those millions are being siphoned to Randy Pitchford's personal accounts instead of funding the development of Borderlands.
That's a sore topic for a lot of people.
It gets crazier.
Oh dear.
In 2014, calendar says that Pitchford left a USB drive in a restaurant that contained sensitive corporate documents for Gearbox and its partners, 2K Games, Sega, Sony, others. And apparently there was also Randy Pitchford's personal collection of underage pornography.
Oh. Of course.
It's just like...
Because usually I keep all my business stuff with my porn.
That was the first I heard of it. Apparently, shortly after the story was published, Ars Technica, they tracked down a magic podcast, as in a podcast about magic.
Magic the Gathering, I'm again, or is it like actual magic?
Like stage magic.
People think we're weird.
In which Pitchford told his own version of the USB stick story. He said, so this is from the Kotaku article. Pitchford described his enjoyment of cam girl pornography, in which a woman streams live erotic content, and explained that he had saved a porn video of a cam girl on said memory stick before it was lost. And then there's like a really explicit description of what he saved.
Oh dear.
And then he says it was barely legal porn. The girl's handle was only 18.
Oh gosh.
Gosh. He also
So that's what happened to Borderlands 3.
What is happening?
Stuck on a USB stick and just who knows where in Texas, and just out there somewhere for someone to find.
So okay. Because all right. So first off, I'm curious though. Why was he on a podcast about magic? First of all, I don't like.
I guess he likes magic.
Well, his company is called Randy Pitchford Magic, so there you go.
That's true.
Two and two together. Must be a fan.
There's like another part of the accusation where he says that Calendar said that Pitchford held parties in which adult men have reportedly exposed themselves to minors to the amusement of Randy Pitchford. And the response to this was, no, they do something that they call peacock parties.
Oh, he's not denying it. He's just saying use the right terminology.
And
when you
the
talk
peacock
about
parties have featured some of the most respected and renowned performers in the world and has been attended by prominent members of the local community and larger media.
Well, please do tell. Do tell.
So it's like, it's not the thing he said. The thing he said was made up in a further attempt to paint a sensational picture that is demonstrably false. The whole story, when I first saw it, I was like, what is happening?
Well, clearly, I got nothing. I don't even know. That story just devolved into chaos, and I don't even know. I don't even know where to begin.
In the beginning, it was like normal, like money stuff. Like, you
That's how it always.
Embezzled. Oh, you embezzled. Oh, you lost your porn collection.
Wait, what? Pardon? You want? Pause. Freeze frame.
So this is why we haven't seen anything from Gearbox since Battleborn. Finally, the truth comes out.
His money on cam girls.
Too much, too busy with his court situation and naughtiness.
Because, yeah.
I think the first headline I saw for this was I don't remember who wrote it, but it was like, so this is why we haven't seen Borderlands 3.
Oh man.
It's weird.
That's an understatement.
It's very weird.
I just.
But that is the darkest timeline for you.
It's the darkest timeline for you. It makes people have peacock parties and forget to fund their games because reasons, I guess. Reasons.
All right, so the rest of the news is kind of a roller coaster, but it does get better. So stay with us.
I don't know if I can take anymore.
So the other big thing I saw last week was there is talk out of the Wall Street Journal that GameStop is possibly going to be bought by, or a deal could be announced for the purchase of GameStop.
Oh yeah, I remember
by
this.
mid-February. Sycamore Partners and Apollo Global Management are both private equity firms bidding on GameStop. That's raised their stock prices like 13%. But yeah, GameStop has been doing well because more digital games.
And also they're trash.
Maybe. Like GameStop was diversifying for a little bit, where they were doing like cell phones and trade-in of like Apple devices and stuff like that. But in November, they sold their Spring Mobile business, which is, if you've ever seen an AT&T store in a mall, it was probably owned by GameStop. Anyway, they seem to be stepping back, and now it seems like they're just waiting to be bought out. I asked you guys this, right? Is this good or bad for GameStop?
No, well, I don't think that was a question. I think your question was like, are they going to die or something?
Yeah. I said,
I remember my
something
answer.
to the extent of, does GameStop will get better before it gets better, or before it gets worse, or
I didn't understand that question.
Disappears forever?
Well, I mean, the first time they bought out somebody, they kind of ruined everything. So, I mean,
was that
when they took over EB?
Oh, okay.
And then all the stores became garbage, and it was just like,
RP's like, where's that game appeared? Oh, let me find it. Oh,
that's a game.
I can't seem to find it. I know it came in. Let me just know. What's it called? Oh, let me look it up here on the tap. Oh, says it's here. Let me go look again. Can't find this Fire Emblem. Sorry.
Just the worst. Just the worst. Then there was the guy that smelled weird. And it was just,
I think it's funny because like RPG has like all these like horror stories about GameStop, but he like doesn't stop going to them. It's just like, why?
It's only because of my work schedule, it makes it harder for me to do like online orders, and I don't like the whole digital only thing. So
I was like, why don't you just use Amazon since you're all like, I don't do digital.
Yeah, no. Otherwise, I would. Yeah, but it's like my work schedule makes it awkward for deliveries. I don't want any of my stuff to get stolen and all this other stuff.
Hashtag Florida.
So I just like, yeah, this is the semi lesser of two evils, I guess. But yeah,
this is my probably bias against GameStop. I mean, I kind of want them to succeed, but or not bias against GameStop, bias against private equity, which is most of the time just looking to like, quadruple what have you the value of the thing that they're buying and then sell it off. And like, how are you gonna do that with GameStop? I don't think you can, unless you're gonna do really bad things. And people already don't enjoy going to the stores, and then you're gonna make it worse, probably. And it's just, yeah, I don't know how this can be good.
Yeah, it's like, to me, it's like the secret sauce of GameStop when they were making money, which isn't the case anymore really, was when they were selling used everything and like selling the new copy for like a couple bucks more than the used copy. And it's like, oh, why would I get the new copy when I can get the used one for like $5 plus? Oh, and it just like became a like hive of scum and villainy of like publishers getting angry of like, oh, we can't sell new games, Project $10 or whatever it's called, and just like all these schemes to like get people to buy new games to make more money, and just at war with GameStop. And then funnily enough, now the tables are turned, and everything's digital, and it's like, haha, we are making money again, and GameStop's not able to sell those pure digital games because you can't do that. And then yeah, it's like I don't see it. I don't see it working out. Cause it's like I don't buy used games. I buy pretty much all digital now, and then don't really need to go there. And like yeah, they have some like sweet shirts and everything now and then, but it's like I can just find those online. Like everything I buy is basically online. So it's like I really don't miss it. Have no remorse for them. When I miss them when they're gone, because that's what's gonna happen. It's gonna take a couple years. Take some time, but keep on chipping away, and eventually, yeah, no more. So, will not be missed. And yeah, that's how I see it going for them. Because how are they gonna be just magically making money hand over fist again? Not gonna happen. So, yeah, unless they can just find some magical way to like optimize the amount of money they're making from like the physical stuff that they sell or their geek culture crap. That's all shirts and widgets or whatever trinkets, all that garbage. Yeah.
Yeah, I am curious as to what they're gonna do with them. Whoever buys them, what they're gonna do with them, because it's like, I mean, for anybody to be going into a bidding war over GameStop, knowing that they're kind of like semi-failing, is like, what is your end game here?
It is. Yeah, it's hard. I mean, they have figured this out. This is what private equity does. But yeah, I don't know. As far as like the store experience though, the customer facing side of it, I think this is probably going to be bad. It may even mean like the end of the last print magazine in the US, Game Informer.
No. Oh.
Don't worry, PG, it'll go digital.
I already have Digital Game Informer.
Know,
They forced me
everyone
into
does.
it.
It's free.
They forced me into it.
They forced me to.
So yeah, GameStop. I guess we'll see.
TikTok.
This next one.
TikTok.
What if every day there was a small message from the past with a small game or toy to play with?
What?
Meditation is a launcher that every day loads a small game and an accompanying text as a meditation, distraction, lesson, or inspiration for that day.
How is this a news story, Tropical?
So this is a pretty neat thing that Rami Ismail, he's most famous as one of the duo that makes up Lambir.
I don't know who that is.
Mm-hmm. They made that Luftrauser game and some other games like the fishing, or not fishing. That.
Yeah, they first appeared on everyone's radar when somebody
the game got stolen,
stole their game before they were able to release it. Stole their game idea and published it first before they were able to release it. But yeah, like apparently early last year he played a game called Tempress by Tak, T-A-K. It was like a sort of minimalistic puzzle game that took no more than 5 minutes or so to figure out. And he played it, and he left it feeling impressed and also feeling, he was like, oh, I played this short game in the morning, and thought that the experience was so cool that he started this project, meditations.games, where you can go and download this app that every day downloads a new game that takes like 5 minutes or less to play. And there will be, like, he went out and found all these developers to make custom games for this.
Ooh.
Over 300 some developers contributed to it. And so there is a new game on meditations.game to play every single day. And once that day ends, you can't go back and play the previous games. So
Can't live in the past, man.
yeah, there was like an article written about this, basically saying like meditations is kind of like live performance art that is going to take a year to complete. And then, once January 1st rolls around again, then it will become a recording of that live performance art, because it's tied to like the days of the year, or the dates of the year. So apparently on a leap year, there will be one more game to play. When's the next one? I don't know. It's a pretty neat idea. I didn't download it until today. So January 15th's game. And then, this is that roller coaster I'm talking about. It's sort of a downer. January 15th's game is something called Ashes. It's created by Owen Bell. And the accompanying text says, "In the middle of January, I went to a small waterfall hidden away in upstate New York. With me, I had a box. Inside were my mother's ashes. She had fond memories of this place as a child. It's where she wanted to rest." And then there's a little interactive thing that you can play around with. Yeah.
Don't know how I feel about that.
I'm sure that they aren't all like that. But
I don't know if I believe you.
My luck was just that was the one that appeared to me today, and I was like, all right then. I tried to, level out the mood of the news, but this is where it brought me. Meditations is a cool thing, but the meditations game today is kind of a downer.
Ashes. Wonderful.
But yeah, you should check it out. It's the download is pretty small, and then I guess it like downloads and loads a new thing every day. And since all the games are like 5 minutes or less, like today's, I think I clicked the mouse maybe for 20 seconds, and then it was over. So they really are these sort of short interactive things, basically. And then finally, Rocket League has entered the PlayStation Crossplay beta program. So now players on PS4, Nintendo Switch, Xbox One, and Steam PC can randomly be matched with each other and play in all of the different types of online matches: casual, competitive, and the extra modes.
So where's all the other games? If crossplay was such a big deal, there's like, everybody's like, oh, where's my Fortnite? Crossplay. Like, where's all the crossplay? I'm just saying, it seems to have died down. The manic demand for the crossplay. I'm just saying, once that got solved, so maybe it was.
I mean,
Tempest in a teapot times 1,000.
Really, the thing that people wanted was their Fortnite accounts to be able to use their Fortnite accounts on Switch, and the other ones were just kind of like I think Rocket League, since the beginning, they were saying, "Oh, we want to do crossplay, but we can't because they won't let us."
Rude.
So it sort of makes sense that this is a big deal for them, but I don't know that people were necessarily clamoring for Rocket League crossplay as much as they were with Fortnite. Yeah, that's now 2 games in the PlayStation cross-play beta program. I think there were 2 others that I remember mentioning that they wanted crossplay as well, but I can't remember what those games were. And then I guess we are going to end on a down note.
Oh no. Why wouldn't you
Stupid
do the Rocket
breaking
League one
news.
last then?
Because I totally forgot about this down note. Since it didn't happen until like right before we
Yeah, it was right before we started recording.
Remember that Star Wars game that everyone was looking forward to from EA Visceral? And it had Amy Hennig was writing the story, and we were like, oh man, it's gonna be like Uncharted Star Wars. That's gonna be awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And then EA was like, nah, single player games have no future here. It's all about service. So
Sounds
this
like
is being
EA.
canceled. It's gonna be a online Star Wars game of some sort.
Games as Service Star Wars Edition.
Well, now we know that EA has canceled that game too.
Oh dear.
I actually have to look into the specifics here because this.
I'm just bummed because this is turning into a curse. It's like, EA has the license. They make Battlefront. It's kind of crap. Battlefront 2, it's okay, but there's that sweet VR mission, but we don't get more of those. Why can't we get more of those? Why can't we just get more of those? Why can't that be a whole game, a whole series, a whole franchise? Whatever. And then it's like, all right, well, we're working on like a sweet, awesome single player Amy Hennig thing, whatever, blah 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 blah. It's like it'll be awesome. We'll show like 5 seconds at E3. And then we never get it. I mean, that being said, before this we had like Star Wars 1313, which looked really good, but it was like M-rated, so it's like, obviously we're never gonna get that now. And it's just like, and then it's like, yeah, that's just like the legacy of the curse is like alive and well. Cause it's like, okay, well, I'm willing to give them the benefit of the doubt if like, they have some sweet games of service Star Wars game and we're all Jedis and we're all running around with lightsabers and just like doing sweet stuff, or a smuggler or a bounty hunter or a politician or a droid, whatever. Just all up in that Star Wars doing the thing. And then it gets canceled. And it's like, like how many years has it been? It's been a long time. And like all I've gotten is Battlefront. And I'm just done. I'm over Battlefront. I never really want to play that game ever again. So I'm just bummed out now.
Yeah. So of course, Jason Schreier was the one who broke this. So there weren't a lot of details when he first published. Updated a little bit a while ago now. Apparently, it was a open world Star Wars game, codenamed Orca, and it would have involved playing as scoundrels or bounty hunter, who could explore open world planets and work with different factions across the Star Wars universe.
That sounds cool. Guess we'll never know.
Guess not. Apparently, it was canceled in favor of a smaller scale Star Wars project.
What?
That's now aimed for much sooner, likely late 2020.
I hope it's not a mobile game, cause man, I'm so sick of mobile games. I'm just saying. It's like, hey, you want a new sweet Avengers game? Or show that trailer? You're never gonna get it. But here's some jank, garbage mobile game. Whatever.
The people he spoke to said that EA didn't lay anyone off as part of this transition, so that's good. And some at the studios are hoping that Orca might be restarted after the new project is finished.
I think something I read was like they had some of the assets from the Amy Hennig game, and they just kept going with it.
So it was entirely rebooted, but they did keep some of the assets, and then they changed it into an open world game. But now it's gone. Visceral died for nothing.
Yep. You're never gonna get Dead Space, but you're also never gonna get that sweet Star Wars game or the other sweet Star Wars game that could have been. So, what'd you get? Nothing. Thanks, EA. Go after yourselves. And that's why I'm not getting Anthem, because I'm angry. And I can just wait until they bundle it at the end of the year with whatever DLC or add-ons or whatever garbage comes out for it. And I can just wait for the first penguins to jump in. So, have fun with that. Also, you're like, oh, Tekken, first penguins. What's that mean? Well, penguins jump through the ice in the Antarctic or wherever the f they're at, and there might be warehouses down there to eat them. One has to jump first and maybe get eaten so the rest can go. So have fun jumping first penguins, and playing at them. And maybe it's garbage, maybe it's not. Maybe you don't get eaten, and I can go behind you and be like, all right, we survived, woo! Or you get eaten, and I'm like, oh, I made out anyway because you took the L and I didn't. So it sucks to be you, but I'm still alive. So yeah, I guess also add that to my resolutions is not playing games I'm iffy on. It's like, you know what? Let's not take the risk. Let's not be a gamer at 12 and be like, oh, I'll buy it anyway. Oh, it was okay. Whatever. No, not doing that. Also, just to reiterate, F you, EA. Go F yourself. You know what you did.
Oh my.
Man, I've been jonesing for a Star Wars game, man. We had that sweet VR mission and just Beat Saber and just now this. It's like, at least we have that. At least we have Beat Saber, I guess. At least we have Beat Saber. They can never take that from us. I mean, it's VR only, so sorry, gonna have a VR headset, but once you've played it, it's that good. Tropical is actually right for one. I mean, Tropical is right. There you go. Tropical is right. Make the shirt.
Anyways, sorry that we ended there, but there was a little bit of hope at the end. It's like Empire Strikes Back.
What was there though?
Maybe speculative spark of hope, maybe. Yeah. Was there any other news? Anything good? Anything good that we can end on?
Anything good?
You should have just ordered the news stories differently, and then we probably
they were getting better until
were they though? Were they?
Tropical, this is the darkest
the roller
timeline.
coaster has
Better's
to
only
end
temporary.
on a low point. Otherwise, you can't get off.
That's not. This is. I mean, unless it's built that way, where you
Then you
on the
have
high
to
note.
go downstairs, or they have to build an elevator, and that's just more.
Or a slide.
A slide. But
Probably not
would
as
that be
safe,
part
but
of the
doable.
ride, then? Then the slide
Tropical.
too.
That is the. Oh my gosh! Someone ever done that? That should be a thing.
The roller coaster ends on the top of a hill, and then you go down a slide.
Or it just shoots you out of a chute onto a slide, so you can't not get on the slide, and you just roll all the way down or slide all the way down. It's a mini man cannon to the bottom.
No.
All right. How about today is the 15th, which means 14 days.
Yay! Until reality is destroyed.
Hey,
Enjoy.
how about that Spider-Man teaser trailer?
I didn't watch it. Reason.
I did.
So, yeah.
All right, I got nothing.
Young Justice is back. Woo!
Woo!
And since Netflix is raising their rates, I might see what else I can buy for cheaper, because F that crap.
So what are you going to do? Are you going to cancel Netflix?
Eventually, because it's last time they raised them, I'm like, if they raised again, I'm done. And then they raised them. So it's I'm on principle having to do that now. So it's I don't use it every day or every week, really. I don't really use it that often. I mean, I will miss it, but I have Amazon Prime when they have a streaming thingy. So it's it's already tied into my Amazon Prime. So it's I don't really need it. So, I mean, there's probably documentaries on there too. And I like documentaries. As long as I've got documentaries, I'm happy. So what else? I mean, it was funny though, because I did the math in my head. I was it's $2 more, which is only $24 a year. But it's am I okay with this? Am I okay with this? I don't know. Maybe I am. I mean, and there's no more sweet Marvel Netflix stuff, so.
That's true. 2 more series and then it's over. Probably.
Yep. Because they're gonna cancel them both. So.
I mean, that being said, Black Mirror is my favorite. So if there's a new season, that could save it.
Just pirate it online.
I mean, I guess the difference. People have been saying, oh, now like streaming is becoming like cable was.
Not really.
Yeah, like the big difference is cable was always like, oh,
Expensive.
you got cable, now you gotta stay with us for 2 years. Whereas with Netflix, like if there's no new Black Mirror right now, then it's like, well,
Just cancel
vacation.
until you want
and
it.
you just like, yeah, you pause it until Black Mirror comes back.
Well, Tropical, I didn't even think of that. I might even do that. I might just be like, you know what? I'm only going to watch Netflix 1 month out of the year, and then the
Yeah.
rest of the year will be vacation mode.
You just like wait till December, everything has been released, and then you just like binge everything in December. And then,
Well, I mean, they do remove things every month too, though. So
It's
it's
like,
not.
it's risk I'm willing to take.
yeah,
It's
like
like Netflix roulette. We'll do it.
you're there for their exclusives now.
Hmm.
Got
I
a
don't-
lot.
I don't. Do they remove exclusives? I'm not sure.
I don't think so.
Who knows?
I don't know if
Who
there was
knows
there.
how it become? Maybe they get wise to our plan and they're like, oh, well, now we're not going to release everything all at once. We're going to do it like a few shows at a time, like other channels. So you have to like
Whoa! If they
subscribe
did
for
that,
weeks.
that would be like worth it to leave, because it's like, dude, that's like the best thing about Netflix is like when they release it and it's all there. It's bingeable right there, right for you.
Well,
Hmm. Well,
I don't know if that was good news, but it was exciting to talk about.
I don't think them raising their price is good news. but
Netflix contingency plans are fun though.
I don't know, because it's like with everyone trying to make their own streaming services now, it really is going to be kind of like down to who has the best exclusives and whether or not you want to pay for like 15 different services, because it's like, well,
I saw something. It's like, you know what? It's like, yeah. It's like, you know what? I may lose Netflix, but I got PlayStation View. So there you go. Or not. Or
Wait,
PlayStation
do you?
TV. Or PlayStation Now. Jeez, the one where you stream the
okay.
game.
PlayStation Now, yeah.
There's too many. I can't keep track. So it's like, you know what? I don't need to watch movies or anything. I can play games, and it's always better. So yeah, not going to miss you, Netflix.
I have, if I lose Netflix, I will still have tons of things to occupy my time. Crunchyroll is still the cheapest.
I was thinking about that too. I was like, well,
So,
I can
yeah.
dump this and get some anime streaming service.
For
and I have Hulu for
3,
TV shows, so
4
I mean,
months. Yeah. But NBC starting their own means Hulu loses stuff probably.
no. The darkest timeline.
Please all stay on Netflix? Why did it have to become like cable on there? And
Well, the problem is these streaming
Monopolies.
services became too popular, so then they were just like, oh, well, we can recoup our monies from cable going down the tubes and make our own streaming services
By making new cable.
so we can get in on that streaming money. That streaming money. It's like Fortnite money, but for streaming shows.
Oh man. All right, so I guess that's it for this episode.
Cool.
Aimless Babble Z. Check us out on the internet, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, wherever the else we're at and stuff.
We're everywhere.
Anything to say before we sign off, RPG?
We're even under your bed, so
Anything,
don't look there.
anything to say before we sign off, Tropical?
I was gonna rhyme that, but I can't think of a rhyme with there.
Bear,
So,
care, malaire.
Care Bear.
Wonderful.
All right, so yeah, name is Babble Z. Until you see or hear from us again, getting weird with it. We're now signing off.